Hello, welcome. A lot of you might wonder why we're doing this, and a lot of the thumbnail and name of it is so late. We recorded this episode maybe a week ago,
Yeah, like a week
less than
ago.
a week,
And
about a week ago actually. Of
yeah.
this recording, and when I put it into Adobe to give it to to put in the intro, it wouldn't export, and it pretty much all went wrong.
Yep.
So welcome to part 2, and
The second attempt at
the second attempt of the first try.
Let's see if this actually works this time for once.
Let's hope it works, even if it's a little laggy. I don't really care. And welcome to the Concession Stand podcast. Welcome back to the Concession Stand podcast. We're gonna get all the information out real quick. Right now, you might wonder where I am, and this is not my room. I am actually in Georgian College, if you can't tell by these shirts. I am in the Henry Bernick, I've tried so many times to say that right, Entrepreneurship Center, and they were graceful enough to let us use their little podcast studio here. So thank you guys. Thank you, Georgian College, for letting us do that. And I thought, going into it, the first story we can talk about, actually, about Georgian College is the Georgian men's rugby team winning the Ontario Collegiate Athletic Association Championship. I don't know a lot about rugby. My friend actually drove me to school.
No less. I actually have watched like one rugby sevens match, and I think it was in like the Olympics or something. And I barely know anything about it other than I guess you can't throw it forward, the ball. I know that.
Yeah,
I've seen. I've only seen that one rugby sevens match. I think it was in like the most recent Summer Olympics, and that was it. So I don't know much, even though I'm like part Australian, and rugby's really big over there. But although I think actually the rugby, I think the main rugby World Cup was actually a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure.
I believe so.
And I think that was like South Africa won that.
Anyways, I wanted to throw that out there since they were so generous to let me use this space, considering that I only have so much time to record, and this was actually a really good time to do it. So congratulations, Georgian. I know my friend on there, go Riley, go you. I know you don't watch this and you don't really care, but go you. Also going to get the other basic stuff out of the way. We are on YouTube, Spotify, and now Instagram. If you are interested in following us there,
go do it.
LinkTree will be in the description. Consider following there. Instagram, you'll get updates about different projects. That is at Concession Stand Network. Our YouTube is also Concession Stand Network. A video will be coming out about that later. And why we changed from Concession Stand Podcast to Concession Stand Network, but this is still the Concession Stand Podcast, so changes that will make sense eventually. And Instagram. No, I said that. Spotify. Concession Stand Podcast. Check it out there. See your logo, that's us.
Do it.
There might be two of us. The one that says that it's owned by Concession Stand Network, not Chicken Tendy, that's the one we're going to consistently upload on, so I can also explain that in the video when that comes out. Going right into the thumbnail and the little bit of late news, Logan Paul.
Let's just get some of these details out of the way. Get some of the quickly.
The older news out of the way. Logan Paul, former vlogger, crypto scammer, energy drink and hydration drink man himself, Dylan Dennis boxer beater, wins the WWE United States Championship in his 8th match in WWE. Yeah,
it's something. It was a thing. I didn't watch it. I don't watch WWE, so kind of relying on, I don't know what you're saying here.
So I didn't watch the match. I didn't watch the match live. I don't believe it was a Saturday morning. So
I don't watch
I was at work.
WWE.
Right. But it was Saturday. It was a Saturday morning, and I was at work, and I only pretty much saw the highlights after. And what I saw, he put on a really good match, really high quality, which is something you wouldn't expect from someone who is a YouTuber, Viner turned YouTuber turned hydration drink man.
Yeah.
We'll move on. That's basically all I wanted to mention. Is that Logan Paul is now
it was the thing happened. He won something. Yeah.
He won something. Congratulations, he finally won something.
He won something. I mean, who knew YouTuber actually could I don't even know what I was gonna go with. I don't know. I was thinking of some insulting joke of YouTubers, but like I couldn't think of a good one on the spot.
But
it's whatever.
Newer news about wrestling and YouTubers actually. Chris Danger. You probably don't know him. I know Ryan will know him.
I don't actually know that name, no.
Long story short, he was a WWE video game YouTuber. Turned into an actual wrestler, and he wrestled his first match. It was on a pay-per-view for a little indie company, not little, DPW, down in Carolina. I don't remember if it was north or south.
One of them.
Pictures came out of him, and keep in mind, this guy is a YouTuber.
Yeah, he was a WWE gaming YouTuber.
Gaming YouTuber, yeah. Wrestling, everything, head to toe wrestling. Comes out, and he has this huge gash on his wrist. On his left wrist. I know you can't see me, Jonah, but on his left wrist. Huge gash. That is insane. And you sit there, and you're like, as a fan, you're like, I don't even see, like, the big named, like, wrestlers taking these. I don't know what happened. Didn't watch the match. It was on a pay-per-view. I didn't pay for it. I just saw the photos after, and it looked like he went through an actual war, like a third world war. So YouTubers are making their space in the wrestling. I think it's gonna be interesting. I'm next. Did you know?
All the big YouTubers are getting into the wrestling or boxing or whatever. How long until we both end up in it?
You know what?
No.
Starting now, I've just signed my contract with the WWE.
I'm not. I don't. I will hopefully not. I don't really have any interest in getting involved. Unless someone, unless someone is willing to pay me like millions of dollars, then maybe I'll reconsider. But
that's the thing. I think it'd be fun.
No.
We'll move on. We'll go. I think this makes a little more sense than what I had written down. Texas Rangers win the World Series.
Yeah, we already went over it. We spent more detail, but we
spent more detail in the other one, but
the one over the Arizona Diamondbacks in 5 games.
Ross Atkins still looks like an idiot. He looks.
He would have looked even more of an idiot if Arizona won, because I mean, hey, you got the trade, but also then again, he didn't sign Marcus. He didn't.
He had no interest in signing Marcus.
And look what happened now. And then he traded away Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Gabriel Moreno for Dalton Varsho, and while they won the team Gold Glove now.
And Varsho should have won Gold Glove.
That's conversation. I mean, that's cool, but like they just sacrificed any semblance of offense and hitting they had
for defense. Let's go. Defense wins championships and everything but
defense baseball. Is pitching. I mean, it would if the hitting wasn't so like it was at least like, I don't know, slight like average or something. Then you know what, that might actually have been the case, but dear God, not with the hitting that the Blue Jays had this year. Like they sacrificed all the hitting because they really panicked over. I think we know why. What specific thing happened last year? Not this year's disaster, but last year's one. 8-1.
Love strategy, love everything. Hate life, hate the Jays.
And I mean.
Basically,
and speaking of them, they did make a lot. I think didn't they make some announcements over like the coaching staff?
Yeah,
like,
so they got their new third base.
Might as well
New
just
third
like
base coach.
get this out of the way. Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter. I just saw it too. Demario Hale as their associate manager just got extended. I'm trying to see if I can find it on Twitter. I saw it. They did hire a new third base manager after Mario. Was it Rivera? Is that his name?
I don't remember.
I might be on
Who?
track.
Was it the
third base coach?
I
The one who sent Bob.
That was
the
Luis,
one who tried to stop
that was
Boba
Luis Rivas.
Luis
Yeah.
Rivas. Okay, I
think he's
don't
been
know
the
who
first base
Mario
coach for
Rivera
like over
is.
a decade
He
or
sounds
something.
familiar.
But yeah,
Mario Rivera is the pitcher. Oh my god, for the Yankees.
But
I'm playing too much Immaculate Grids.
And
so
there's something about Don Mattingly as well.
Yeah, he might be leading.
But I thought they were giving him more control or some way if he chose to stay. But apparently the Brewers were interested in maybe hiring him as their new manager. I mean,
so Carlos Feebles is the new third base coach. Don Mattingly will be undertaking an expanded role as bench coach and offensive coordinator.
I'm very nervous about that.
He should be manager. He should be manager.
I don't know. I'm very nervous, but I mean, like, I'm more skeptical because like I've seen his track record with other teams and it's not great. I mean, like he was with the Dodgers.
Still better than John Schneider.
And I mean, he was managing the Dodgers for a while, but never got them over the hump. And then he was with the Marlins and only achieved one playoff series win, but that was the 60-game season. So I mean, I don't know if that really counts for anything though. But I don't know. Blue Jays is a disaster. They're supposedly I saw something a while back that they might. I honestly don't even really want to bring it up because I don't even think it even warrants any coverage because it's so obviously not happening. But the supposed claim that they might take a look at Shohei Ohtani and like I'm just gonna say up front, nope, not happening. There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
There's no shot that's happening.
There's not a single chance that's happening.
Do that.
I mean, unless they
do,
have to trade like a lot of people or get a lot of people off the team to make room for him. Because I do
or
not.
Or if Rodgers decides to throw more money into the team, they could afford him.
If they want to, I mean,
all you have to say to Rodgers is, "You get Shohei Ohtani. Think of the money we can make."
I mean, you got one of the most influential athletes in like the world, so But that's not happening. He's going to the Dodgers. That seems like pretty close to a certainty.
Probably.
Or if it's not the Dodgers, then I guess he's sticking with the Angels. But basically, he's just staying in Southern California, probably. Except I don't think he'll be going to the Padres. But I think he's staying in LA, one of the teams. Probably the Dodgers. But I might as well just address that and swat it aside because it's not happening. Anyways, yeah, we get it. Blue Jays suck. Rangers, they won the World Series. Cool. Not really that happy. You know, I'm not supposed to be a fan of them, but cool. Congrats. They won. They were the best team. You know, standard talk. Anyways, I think we can move on now. I think we got that out of the way.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the news article here. It was from Sportsnet. Moving on to something maybe a little more serious, not as much make fun of everyone. The Chicago Blackhawks are under immense fire again. And if this is something that you are, get upset over,
just
skip ahead of the video.
Content warning.
Toss out a little trigger to content warning.
Sexual assault.
Move ahead of the video.
Assault.
Move ahead. We'll understand. We're not going to be upset if you want to skip down. If we keep talking about it, keep going until you start figuring out. I'll see if I can put in chapters. Chicago Blackhawks under fire again for another alleged sexual assault on a player from their video coach. I don't even remember the guy's name.
I think it was Aldrich. Was his name.
Yeah. So another during that 2010 championship run. The mere fact, and I've already screamed about this enough in the last episode. I don't even have the energy to scream about it today. The mere fact that they ended up getting Connor Bedard because of it, and no repercussions, but a guy who is traded for or traded without being sent with the no trade clause.
And then Ottawa lost
that
a
team
first round
loses
pick for that
draft
whole
picks.
thing, which is detrimental to the team's future. Whereas the Blackhawks got like
a
$2 million fine. So like the franchise is like worth over $1 billion anyway. So that's nothing to them. And
that's like
if they're
the school finding me
I mean, if they were taking away draft picks, then that would have a lot more severe repercussions for their future, at least. That's what happens to Ottawa for not informing Vegas over a no trade clause thing on one player, and yeah, they lose the first round pick for that. Whereas Ottawa has, Chicago, employed a guy that was a serial predator, and even though they knew he was doing very illegal and horrible things, they didn't fire him for something not messing up with the team chemistry or whatever. I think that was their lazy excuse. I think that was Joe Quenneville's excuse for not firing him, even though he was well aware of what was happening. And I think they let him get his name engraved on the cup and let him leave with dignity. Despite
there was a thing that I saw where he was,
and he actually is a convicted sex offender. He not for this. It was actually for something completely different.
He was coaching like a high school.
Yeah, there's a high school team in like Michigan or somewhere, I think.
Yeah, and he did inappropriate things to 16-year-old players. And there was a book I read, and I don't know if it's about that story or a different story. But I forget the guy's name who wrote it. It was a really good book, and I remember reading it in high school, and it was like, holy, like, damn, like what, like how often does this happen, and how often do people not talk about it? And this is one of the things where it's like, you sit there, nothing's gonna happen of it, nothing will happen of it. Even for the team, I still think that they should have been docked so many points. They should have been docked so many this. They lose their name. Like he gets his name off the cup. The team, the players that aren't associated with it can keep their name on the cup, but it's not under the Chicago Blackhawks. I think they should be suspended for a year. There's so many things that should have happened.
No, all that happened was the $2 million fine, and I think Aldrich's name was taken off the cup. That was it.
Thank God.
That was all they did, was that, and the $2 million fine. That, I think, was all they did. Was just
which is not enough for a guy's life who has been altered and I bet you severely messed up because of it.
And there was Quenneville resigned as when he was coaching the Panthers, although he was pushing to get a return into the NHL. But thankfully, no one hired him. I was very worried because I saw there was a couple of dumb idiots who were actually saying, you know what? Oh, the Leafs should fire Sheldon Keefe and put Joel Quenneville in charge.
No.
I don't care how many cups he has. I don't care how many wins. If he's like an accomplice and running cover for a sexual predator, I don't give. I do not give it. I don't care. I do not give a crap at all about whatever the free cups or whatever the hell he's won. I don't. And
I think
he was gone.
All your respect and everything that comes along with being a coach gets thrown out when there are serious allegations about you doing things to not only to your players who are supposed to trust you and believe in you and are pretty much all your right hand men throughout your career, and then all of a sudden that gets thrown away because why? You abuse your power, you do this, you do that, frankly you're just a freak at that point. And I don't mean to put it that way, but if there's something up in your head that is so messed up that it cannot function. Anyways, before I say something and get myself in trouble, let's move on. We'll stick with hockey. We'll kind of stick with coaches, but not in a bad sort of sense. Well, not in the same bad as Chicago.
Criminal stuff.
Not criminal. Someone who should have been arrested. Just really bad situations. Edmonton, their coach was Raycroft.
Jay Woodcroft.
Woodcroft.
Got fired.
Got fired after losing to the Sharks, but beating.
They beat the Canucks, but by then I think it was already like too. Or no, it was the Seattle Kraken. No, they got destroyed by the Canucks a couple days ago, 6-2. It was Seattle Kraken that they beat 4-1 last Saturday, but that was too little, too late, and they fired him right after that game. I'm pretty sure.
Riddle me this, Batman. Didn't they fire their coach before Woodcroft? A couple years ago, I think.
I want to say probably yes. I'm gonna take a quick look at that, and I want to say probably yes because I think I'm pretty sure they burned for like a number of coaches. Yeah, they only fired their most recent coach like a year and a half ago. It was Dave Tippett.
Yeah,
he was.
Take a guess.
He was coached for the Oilers for 4 years. They were struggling. No, yeah, that was one they were. I think. They were. I think they had a really poor start that year, and they only won like 7 of their first 23 games or something like that. And the last 2 times in the playoffs, they had like both quick first round exits, like in the bubble in 2020, you know, losing to Chicago, and then in 2021 getting swept by Winnipeg in the All Canadian playoff division thing. Not
I don't think it's
not even the most embarrassing thing that actually happened in that division, of course, because for reasons obviously that I think we're all aware of. But yeah, so he's gone, and then Jay Woodcroft's brought in, and the Oilers make a run to the conference final in 2022, but then get swept once they reach it there by Colorado, and then of course this year they made it only to the second round and were knocked out by Vegas, who of course went on to win the cup. And this year, this season, I saw so many people were hyping them up as like, oh, they're the favorites. Not one of the favorites, but the favorite to win it all. Like there were so many predictions that said the Oilers are going to win it. They were going to be the one that breaks the 30-year drought of like no Canadian team winning the Stanley Cup, and that McDavid would finally get his cup. And
let's wait till McDavid comes to Toronto. Oh no! All of a sudden, McDavid's in Toronto and he signs a team friendly, contract.
It would be a dream, and like
at that point, there's no way.
I was incredibly skeptical of that because like the Oilers, they're top heavy. They're very top heavy. Like they got like McDavid and Draisaitl, which is probably the most lethal. Like, no, I mean I'd say like is the most lethal duo in the sport, but you can't 1-2 punch. You can't win on 2 players. You cannot win up with just 2 players. I was thinking, like, if this were basketball, you know what, sure, I think 2 elite players is probably enough to make a serious run to win, like, the NBA championship, sure. But,
Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, but, like hockey, no. You can't get away with 2 great players, since, well, you need to have, like, you get nowhere if you have no good enough depth that can sustain across like 4 lines, and also if you have a really like crappy goalie or something, or a goalie tandem that's not really good, then that kind of also, well, maybe not necessarily as a death knell, but it puts a lot of pressure on you to score a lot of goals every single game. Just to
it's not good. It's not good. A $5 million AHL goalie.
I was about to get to that because I mean there was already warning signs in like the very first game when they let in like 8 goals to the Vancouver Canucks in their opening game and lost 8-1. That was already a bit of a warning sign. And they had both Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner both gave up 4 goals each on 16 shots. Then they lost to Vancouver again. And then they did win over Nashville, but then lost something like, I'm just going on their schedule, 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row, and then they beat Calgary, but then lost again 4 in a row, one of which was losing to Vancouver a 3rd time. 6-2.
Third.
And then of course losing to the San Jose Sharks 3-2, the worst team. Well, everyone thought they were going to be the worst team bar none, and I mean stats, they are by far the worst. Like
Stats don't lie.
They're 2-12-1. They're not even they're very openly tanking. Like at the very beginning, they're not even attempting to actually be any good. They're like very brazenly tanking, and they currently have a goal differential of -49. Only 15 games in the season, they're already at a -49 goal differential, and somehow the Oilers lost to them. You know, the supposed cup favorites lost a game to the San Jose Sharks.
I mean, we really can't be saying anything. We're Leafs fans and we lost to Ottawa, but like,
I mean, at least the Senators were supposed to be like better this year.
at least
they have expectations. So I mean, and of course they beat Seattle 4-1 last Saturday, but I think it was already over for Jay Woodcroft, and he was fired immediately after that game. But like at the end of the day, is it really his fault that like their goalies are crap and the poor depth is kind of showing again? Is that really his fault for all that?
No, it's not. Like, I know that's the thing. It's really bad on the upper management.
Like I know it's typical whenever like I mean really in any sport whenever a team struggles, usually the easiest move to do is fire the coach.
But that's not the
to try to take the team. But like it's not really his fault. And like I think the general manager, I think this is now, if I just look at it, is Ken Holland. He used to be the general manager of the Detroit Red Wings for a long time and won like a bunch of cups with them there, and Edmonton got him, but he's just not really been all that good with the Oilers. And I think he's gone through like maybe I think this might be his third permanent coach he might have fired. I'm pretty sure. Like, I mean, at that point, if he's gone through like that many different, like managers, and like I don't know, it's why is he still there?
It's interesting.
Like I think if you go for that many people, like in a short amount of time, you kind of have to eventually like go and like be fired.
Yeah, I think it's time for the GM to be fired.
I mean, I've got the same thing with Ross Seconds too. Like when there's a lot of talk, are they going to fire John Schneider? And like, even if they do, why the hell is Ross Hackett still around? Because that would have been his. If he actually went through and fired him, that he would have been onto his fourth permanent manager in like the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's never a good look.
If he did fire him though, and like he would have been it would have been worse. He would have been onto his third permanent manager in 3 years. Even then, if he fired him, that's actually an even worse look. But like, Oilers are dumpster fire. They could go on I think at this point it's probably they've dug themselves a massive hole. Now. I know Jack Campbell, of course, they're the $5 million man.
Jack Campbell seems like a really good person. He's just
he had that 1 year and a half where it was like really good, but then it was very evident in like the 22 season that he was just not good anymore, and like that's why the Leafs were probably happy to let him go and then sign another disastrous goalie signing in Peter Mrazek. But you know, that's another.
And Matt Murray.
Of course. We can't forget about that. And like he goes to Edmonton and gets $5 million, and I think he got demoted to the AHL and then let in like 4 goals in his first game there.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, like, he did not have a good showing.
Don't feel too bad, because I mean, hey, he's still making $5 million in the AHL. So I mean.
Yeah. How many hockey players can you say make $5 million in the AHL?
I don't know. I think
maybe that's his plan. Plays really easy hockey and he just makes $5 million.
I think they need like some kind of 2019 St. Louis Blues run to actually probably even simply make
the playoffs.
The playoffs, especially if this form continues. Which I mean, like, I'm not sure if I don't know. They're at 7 points currently, which is only 2 better than the San Jose Sharks, which again, the worst team in the league. And honestly, at the moment, they might actually be one of the worst teams in like the last couple of years than anything. But marginally better. But then again, they lost them, so I can't even really say they're better when they actually lost a game to them.
That's fair. I think we're gonna move on now to. I know we mentioned this, but Toronto.
They're far back. The Leafs.
Toronto and Nylander. Speaking 13 million year or millionese. Oh my god, 15 games. Okay, so anyone who doesn't know about the Leafs, first off, what hockey are you watching? Second off, why are you in Europe? Third off, Nylander wasn't going to take a team-friendly salary, basically. He wasn't going to take the really cheap contract to make it team-friendly. He wanted to make the big bucks because he thought he was worth it. Bucko over here is making it worth it. Like, he's out here, he's 15 points.
Doesn't he still have a point in, like...
15 points.
Doesn't he have a point in, like, every single game so far this year?
I believe so, or almost every game. Like,
or maybe even every game, or like pretty close to it.
He's putting in the work. He is. And it's one of those things where I remember they were talking about trading him back a year or two ago, and I'm like, why would you trade him? He's the only one playing in the playoffs, and he's doing big things.
I mean, the whole...
I'm a genius.
The sports media in Toronto has been making him like the villain for basically basically ever since he actually ever since the team became good enough in the regular season, they've been trying to pin the blame on him that, they should get rid of him. He's too soft. They need to get rid of him. They need to bring in tough guys like Nick Ritchie or something, the guy who bombed badly when he was here, or Ryan Reeves, it was, kind of disaster.
I love Ryan Reeves. I love his character. I love how he plays.
He's just not doing awful at hockey. Let's just put it that way. He's just not good at the sport, but he's good.
No,
the only thing is,
I think that's also on Sheldon Keefe though, because he's not getting him to play what he wants or what he should be playing, which is physical hockey.
I mean, like, he's literally just like a freaking enforcer. The only point of those people is just to like punch, essentially, or like get into constant fights all the time, or stick up for another player or stuff like that. That's really all their purposes. They're not really like skill at anything else.
But you know who did show up recently? The fourth line. The bottom six of the Toronto Maple Leafs finally showed up and did their job, and it wasn't just like a handicap. It was actually show up, support the team, put the puck in the net every now and then. All of a sudden, there you go. Now look where they are. They were so praised last game because they actually decided to score, and happy us. Go Leafs fans.
Yeah, and just look at this, the expectations. We're like 15 games, so maybe it's a decent time to start assessing where they are, and they're about almost as mid as you could maybe get. Like, they've got a goal differential of +1. They're 8-5-2. They're tied for third, although I guess Detroit must have like a tiebreaker or something because Leafs are like behind them in the Atlantic. I need to come clean and make some apologies because I think I had said something, I believe it was in the last video. I'm pretty sure I had said, in the Atlantic Division, there's going to be some change, and I think one of the teams that's always going to get knocked off, or maybe not necessarily miss the playoffs, but be like a lot worse, would be Boston, because they lost Bergeron, they lost Krejci, they choked a 3-1 lead, even though they're the best regular season team in NHL history, and so I thought there's no way anyone could recover from that. And I'm willing to own up. No one should ever trust anything I have to say on anything ever. Let's just make that ever, because they're first. They're
I
24 points.
It's gonna happen again. I think they're gonna kind of like start pulling into the Leafs.
But then again, we were saying the same thing about the Tampa Bay Lightning when they like got swept when they were the President's Trophy winners in like 2019. There's no way to recover from that, and then they won the cup 2 years in a row after that.
And then they got Corey Perry.
And then stopped winning the cup because of course he's like the
actually,
whatever the opposite of a magnet is, I guess. Like the cup will just cannot get close to him. No matter what.
This kind of it leads into our last topic, but I think we can always expand on it more, or come up if something else comes up. Talk about it, of course. Hockey expectations for the NHL. I'm not gonna lie, I thought the Leafs were definitely gonna be like the first in the Atlantic after signing Bertuzzi.
I was kind of more a little bit skeptical on that part because like they always are solid in the regular season, but they're never the top. There's always one other team that's like a world beat or something like that comes out of the Atlantic, and it's been Boston this year. Right now, it was Boston last year. It was Tampa for a while. Like before that, I think Florida 1 year was like top in the division as well. But like I was more about fishing first. I thought they should at least be aiming for that because I mean, like, hey, like this seems like it's the most wide open. I mean, I thought the Bruins would surely be worse. I mean, the Lightning would I thought be like down a lot since I think maybe the fatigue of like being those deep playoff runs might be setting in, and the Panthers are a bit of a wild card too. I mean, they made that cup run, but they only barely even made it into the playoffs in the first place. And they got some injuries here and there. And then there's teams like Buffalo and Ottawa and Detroit that are up on the rise. Honestly, honestly, 7 of the 8 teams had a legitimate case of making the playoffs, except for Montreal.
That's fair.
That was the one team I think we could all probably agree. Yeah, I don't think that there's any way they're going to get in. Whereas I think like every other team, I think they had a reasonable chance or a case of actually getting in there because Buffalo narrowly missed. Ottawa has been, the rebuild is over. Time to start winning. I mean, there was no win in the last 2 years, and it's been a bit of a rocky start. I mean, that GM had to resign. That gave us that glorious quote over the whole thing with the first round pick. And then there's Detroit, which I mean has just been kind of a mess for a long time now.
Right.
But maybe they're actually going to be a not crap for once. I don't know. It was way more wide open, and honestly, I was again a bit skeptical even then. And like, obviously, we'll just wait until April and see what it's like for the Leafs. But then the Eastern Conference, even then, is like really stacked. Because then, even then, there's like numerous big teams in like the Metropolitan Division as well. So
one of the things that I always thought that would go, I never thought a team would be doing well as good as Vancouver's doing right now.
In Vancouver, that was a shock. I was not. I think Vancouver is basically what everyone thought Edmonton was going to be.
Like they switched roles. What can we say?
They got like a plus 33 goal differential. They're 11-3-1. They're only 2 points back of the Golden Knights for the Pacific division lead. So I don't know. They're looking like the actual real. At the moment, they're actually looking like the main team that would break the whole 30-year cup curse of no Canadian team winning it. That they're closer. The 15 games in, they're looking like easily the best. But
they're probably gonna throw another riot if that's the case.
Oh yeah, they'll. I don't think they'll win. I mean, yeah, they'll throw a riot if they win, but they'll throw a riot if they lose. Whenever they make the cup final, it's a guarantee they're gonna throw a riot. But like, because like both times they made there, they threw big riots when they lost.
Oh yeah.
94 and 2011. So
I always think Leafs fans are the worst. Well, at least we don't throw riots.
I don't know. There was no mass riots when the Leafs won the playoff series. There's no mass riots when the Raptors won the championship or
No, just parties. Yeah. A lot of parties.
They weren't
not like Montreal or
setting cars on fire or
Yeah, we kind of just at this point as a Toronto fan, you kind of just accept it and move on. You're used to it. Anything else? Any other expectations we have? What do we think?
I don't know.
I don't pay attention to like Southern, like LA hockey. I'll be honest. I have no idea how well they're doing. I mostly focus on the Canadian teams.
Kings are doing kind of fine. Los Angeles is doing good. The Rangers. I'm just checking the scenes right now. So the Rangers are looking good, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm still a little skeptical over, especially after what happened last year. I'm still a bit skeptical about how well they can actually do. I mean, you got Carolina is up in there too, like they're 18 points. The Devils are kind of not doing great, not doing the best when people thought they were cup contenders. Pittsburgh is kind of like all over the place. I mean, they got Kyle Lewis now, but they've also got like
good luck,
the oldest team possible. So, and I think the Columbus is dead last in the Metro Division. Of course, I don't know if we mentioned much of this, but Mike Babcock getting fired before the preseason, didn't even coach a preseason game.
He didn't even coach a preseason game, but he did coach. Don't worry, he did coach the players on what should be on their phone.
Yeah, he did too. He did do that.
I know Nasher put out that same kind of meme in one of his like Be a Pro videos where he's like, "We want to look through your phone." It's a photo of Babcock.
You just get it out. We knew
this guy. We need to make a video on Babcock's worst moments.
I mean,
Mike Modano.
Leafs fans could scream at him like that. Babcock was always a terrible hire. He's just so out of touch with the game. Like
Mike Modano.
Mike Modano. Like,
stop it from $14.99.
Yeah, stop it from getting 1,500 games. Or it could be Jason Spezza. When his family came in to watch his Leafs debut, and he scratched him from the game altogether.
Whoever thought Babcock was a good coach should be fired.
I think people just see that cup he won in Detroit, even though that wasn't him who won it. It was more like the players they had at that point, and didn't really do much after that point. When they won that one cup in Detroit, Babcock won it.
Than that.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason people held him out is because he won a cup in Detroit, and that was it.
You win a cup in Detroit. That's like,
and I think he might. I think a lot of people are obsessed with him too because I can't remember. I think he might have been the head coach of one of the Canadian Olympic hockey teams. I don't remember if it was one or two. I know he was in charge of the 2014 one.
I think it might have been two.
It was. I know he was in charge of the 2014 team when they won the gold medal.
Was it also 2010? Who was the coach?
I don't know if he's. Oh, he was the coach of 2010. He wasn't the coach of 2010 as well. So he's the coach of both the 2010 and 2014 Winter Olympics, and of course, won gold at both of them.
But
that was also.
At that point, you're also working with athletes who
the players who were on that team, right?
Won't really take.
They had on both teams, right? Like the players they had on it, like come on. I think it's more of they had completely stacked rosters.
If you're gonna try to bully them, then you're losing at that point. Like they're just gonna be like, no, and then all of a sudden now you look like an idiot because you're not playing your best players because they said no one time, and now all of Canada hates you. Anything else we should talk about, or do you think we're good? I don't know. I last couple days, other than pretty much Edmonton, it's been kind of dead.
Yeah.
Edmonton and San Jose were the two. That's kind of been dead. Well, if that's the case, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, check out our Spotify, check out our Instagram, all in our LinkTree down below. If you guys are interested in, or let us know what you think we should talk about in the comments. And anything else, Jonah?
No, I don't really have anything else to add.
$5 million hockey players that play in the AHL are not cool. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching.
I wish I got paid $5 million here to just sit here, say I'm going to upload videos or do streams and never follow through on them. I wish I got $5 million for that. I mean, that would be awesome. We all have dreams.
If I can dream. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Check out everything. And bye.